Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Artist and the Thinker podcast. I am the artist, El Sweets.
And I am Terrence B., the thinker.
Sorry, guys. So, recently, Cam Newton did a Valentine's special, and he had as his guests Lex and Drea from Poor Minds. And when I say these girls went in, they held no bars back. But you know what? Ooh, sorry. They really read Cam in a way that he has not been read before. And they made it real clear. They was like, this ain't Halloween. This is not no, they said this is not Valentine's Day. This is Halloween. Like this is a nightmare.
It
Like
gets
the
spooky every day in
way
October.
the way Cam has been doing things. And I want to say this. So Cam Newton, I said this before. I don't know if I ever said this to you, Terrence, about how I feel about Cam. So Cam is a person who he gives a word soup. He'll say a whole bunch of big words, but don't mean that, right? They might sound right, but that don't mean it's right. And I
Mhm.
feel like Cam Newton and Kevin Gates are the same person. Would they be trying to sound all like they know what they talking about and try to justify some of their BS that they be doing it, especially when it comes to women. Like they will literally try to sell downplaying women and their value and justify their very doggish and whorish actions. And I mean, Cam, I mean, he got old girl, I forgot her name, the one that he has the kids with now.
Jasmine?
Yeah, had her out here looking crazy. I mean, she's over here, my stepchildren, da da da. Yeah, it's not your husband. And given what he has done with the other woman, you are the third baby mama, and I'm not knocking anyone with a baby mama. So I want to make that part clear when it comes to orders and stuff. But it's like he has you out here looking crazy. You saying, "Oh, we got this," da da da. You speaking one thing, but he will get on that podcast and make it clear he's still looking for the one, and he ain't found the one.
Which is crazy work right there. Because, mind you, all the listeners out there that have been with our show for a while, we did do a 2-part episode on Cam called Boys
Mm-hmm.
to Men. And so we did talk about this before. And I was like, yo, this is some crazy work. I was like, what is it, man? Because you talking as crazy as the way you dress. But I digress.
I feel like
And
the
like
crazier he got dressed and the crazier
the
it got.
crazier he got dressed, the crazier his mind just went to Mars. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about, dude?
I mean, but one of the things though, Terrence, is that people get so wrapped up in these lifestyles. And see, Cam has a lifestyle. He has ran through so many women that he can get a good woman, but his nature has came to this that it doesn't give you peace. It doesn't give you peace to be able to just settle down to one woman and really devote his time because given the the timeline when it came to like his first the chick he was with for a long time he had the most kids with her. I mean, they did so much in Charlotte together. Like you couldn't tell anybody like that wasn't his one, right? For him to later on have a baby with a whole nother woman and have her staying in some penthouse in Atlanta, I think, to that thing falling apart. And then, have old girl and parading you around like this and get on this podcast and basically talk about women like we are cars that are
Yeah.
being depreciated every time we do things. Like you aren't, like you're worth, like, don't get me wrong, he has his big old bank account, so a lot of women will sit there and they will put up with some of that stuff, but it's like, Cam, no sir.
Yeah.
No
Like,
sir.
dude, I was sitting there looking at like listening to the stuff he said. I was like, nah, with sports, stick to that. If he was just
Yep.
staying with the sports, because he know his shit with sports. That I can't even deny with you on that. I can't even mess with you on that. But when you start going into relate, I was like, bro, just stop.
Mhm.
Because I was like,
And
now stick
Cam
to the sports because that's your spot. Stay there. Because you trying to give advice on based on what you're going through is horrible. Because I'm like, you're gonna set a
mhm,
lot of these guys up for failure. You know what I'm saying? And so I was
mhm.
like, dude,
This
your
ain't
girl
it.
just, your girl just said this, and I remember he was
And
on one thing where he was like what you said about the cars. He was like, you know, women lose their value based on how many kids they have.
mhm.
And my question is, I was like,
You
okay,
got how
but
many kids?
you got how many, bro? So you think that doesn't play a display in the mind of a woman that thinks gonna be like, yo, how come he got all these kids, but yet he ain't wife none of them up? He didn't settle down or nothing or attempt to. I'm still looking for
So
my one. So you didn't find your one with the women you had these kids with?
and so you out here. So
You think a
basically, what he's
thinking
saying
woman?
is he out here taking the value of women. That it became a sport. Let me devalue you a little bit. Let me give you a baby or two. Is that what you're saying, Cam? But you know what I like to say when it comes to people talking about women who may who have children or have multiple children. There are two women, that Diana Ross and the infamous Miss what's her name? Oh my lord, Erica Badu.
Mm,
Yeah. And honey, there's still men who
yep.
willing to do some strange things to be in her presence.
I
So
mean,
miss me with that
Mercury.
one.
I was like, she don't know.
Miss me with that one.
I was like,
Um,
and
but
you want to know the crazy thing about that is that with every guy that's talked about Erica Badu specifically, like DOC was like, he was like, man, it threw me off because like she went to go see my grandmama. Like he was like, went to go see my grandmama. You know what I'm saying? And like he was like, that threw me like, wow, she went to go see my grandma to talk to her about me. And like grandma was like, yeah, that girl Erica came by, like she came by here. And so I was
now I
like,
do still think she a witch, but outside of me,
I digress, but I was sitting there like
Whew. But
every interaction you can see the spectrums that she has. But
mhm. But when it comes to Cam and the way that he has well no, old girl said he was no, Cam was like, well, we don't we know what we show the public about our relationship and da da da. She said, well, you might need to get a better producer. It ain't working. And I
oh
mean,
yeah, that was
it's
hilarious.
not because to allow a man to make it to for you to be the person that after he leaves that set, he is going to get in the bed with you after he just said, well, he hasn't found the one yet. It's such a slap in your face. And with men like this, not just Cam, these are the type of men who will take your good years, will drag you through your 30s, will drag you through years, will give you babies, heartaches, and arguments with other women to turn around and meet a chick who won't tolerate that stuff, and then they'll get their life together for them. Or they just find another woman who is just as silly as you and move on to that one. So
Eventually,
women
it's gonna catch up to him.
well, yeah, it'll catch up with him for sure. But that woman will never be able to get those years back. And don't let it be a woman who didn't have kids and held off kids because she was waiting to marry this man. And that man don't marry her and she's got up in the age. Not saying you cannot have babies past 40 or even 50, but you have gotten yourself at a certain age now that it doesn't look likely that you would start a family or get married. So it's one of those tales all this time. And I understand everybody's relationship is different, and some people accept certain things. than others. But for you to be hooting and hollering, talking about my stepkids, then you are sounding like you are valuing it as if you are their mother, as if you are a wife.
Yeah.
And
And he don't even see
women,
you as that.
and one thing I think a lot of women in these type of situations, they will want marriage, but they will let these men paint this narrative that marriage is not important, that they shouldn't focus on it, and will turn around and go marry a woman a fragment of the time that they knew you. So it's like he is a walking red flag. I don't care how much money is in his pocket, how much
Mm.
fame he holds. He is a red flag. Those type of men are the worst.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst. And those women did an excellent job. And they did it to his face, and they did it very comedically, where it was his own show, and they was like, "Yeah, no, this ain't it, player.
Yeah, you need to cut
This
it out.
not
For
it.
real.
You are the type of men that have women scared to get committed." And they are. So when people come at women and say that women don't take things as serious anymore, it's because those type of men will ruin a good woman. They will ruin a good woman and drink her dry. Especially if you are a woman who is putting your all in this relationship and operating as if you are already married with him, and he is operating of you are the flavor of the week, or however long he wants to keep you on his arm before he finds another.
Yeah. And
And what was the guy you sent me, the actor? He's in his 60s now, talking about he just found love. I mean, he just understood what love was.
oh, my dude that played Pinky.
Yeah, and with him,
That was
you will end
crazy. That was
you will
crazy
end
work.
up like that. With
And
men like that, when you say catch up on them, that's what I think you're talking about. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I believe that when it comes to that particular subject, is just the anger that he felt in that is that it took him that long. Because
Mhm.
it at the end of the day, no matter how you cut it, no matter how well until this woman came along and showed me how to love, no, it comes down to a choice. If you're gonna learn
Mhm.
from your mistakes and take accountability for your mistakes and learn from your
Mhm.
lessons and try to be better for the next woman that comes along. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. And like for you to be like, it took this woman to come along to teach me how to love. It took me 6 years. That took you specifically 60 years. Don't try to put that on men that's still young, saying like, man, I can learn quicker because I don't have to go through the trials and errors you did because I'm trying to create something different, a different narrative as a man. And I believe that depends on the man. Are you willing
Mhm.
to hold yourself accountable for the wrong you've done that you know you've done? Are you willing to hold yourself accountable to that caliber? Are you willing to look at yourself? Shit, take some damn therapy there. All black men are so fucking scared of. Get some freaking therapy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like let's get some therapy. Like let's figure out where does this stem from. It's no longer just a white thing anymore. It's cool to get therapy. And so with him, I hate that it took him that long, but I'm glad that he peeped the lesson finally. But what I don't like is that him saying it takes a man that long. No, that's you who took that long. Not all men. Because I believe some men are mature enough and wise enough to look at within themselves and see the wrong that they've done and try their best to fix it. You can't just chalk that up to all men. That's ridiculous. And I was like, you could tell that you're not used to this kind of environment because you got guys around you willing to support you and listen to you and hear you out, but they're not going to take no disrespect either. And so I, with Cam, I don't know. It looks like he's a dog set in his ways.
Mhm.
And I hate
But
to
I
say that,
guarantee she after that podcast right there, he went home and he stared out into the to the into space a little bit because they held no bars back. And for what's the old girl name?
Jazz.
Jazz, for her, I know she was punching in the air because they were funny. And I recommend people go and listen to it for sure. They were funny, but behind all of their jokes was some real stuff.
Yeah, which
Now,
is
like
what
I
comedy's
said,
supposed to be anyway.
there are a lot of people who have different ways they view how their relationship is going to be conducted. But then for one thing I will say it now and say it then, we are designed a certain way by nature. And because we are designed a certain way by nature, women will accept a lot of stuff that they don't because in the name of love. But when you are dealing with certain people who you want something different, whether you're a man or a woman, but you love that person so much and they're pushing a certain narrative on you, you need to make sure you tough enough for it. That you don't get down here years down the road and feel like you've been robbed of something because that person never changed. Because ain't no way.
Yeah,
Ain't no way no man gonna be still sitting here making it look like he's still searching for the right one and I'm supposed to be his lady. Ain't no way. So,
yeah. I believe with
but
like, I think it's like for him to come out and say that, and then like, do you know that when he said it the first time, I was like, do you know the conversation you gonna have when you get home? Nigga, like, do you?
but there might not be conversations had. She might really because when she was out here all on the internet justifying a lot of that stuff and ranting and raving, everybody was laughing at her about it. She she held it down. Then she make it have another baby after it. So
And it's my thing for you to hear him say that, and then you have another baby with him, like that baby's gonna change his mind.
mhm.
That's ridiculous. Because, like Maya Angelou said, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. So this man's showing you who he is. So at some point, you can't even hold him at fault anymore because he let you know who he was, and you chose to stay with that give give attitude, saying I could change him. No, you can't. Man's got to be willing to change for himself and for the woman that he loved.
Mhm.
But for him to say that, I believe she should have took that as a sign. Well, he's wasting my time because time is the one currency that none of us
Mhm.
can get back. I mean, like, well, you're wasting my time. I didn't. I'm not
Yes,
here for
exactly.
that. And you still looking for the one, but I'm over here giving you my best years, and this is what you do. Bet, keep it moving.
And I would say if she was 1,000% okay with it, that rant that she had a couple years back, what about what a year and a half ago,
Yeah,
she wouldn't have had it. She would have not did all of that if she really was 100% okay because she felt she had to be defensive about it. So even with him making that statement, time out, we know what to show and what not to show and reveal whatever he was trying to say about his relationship and yada yada yada. Just trying to using big words and pronouncing your words
words good.
correctly in a sentence does not make it correct. It does not. So just because you throw in a big word here and you form a nice cute sentence does not make it correct. I'll say it
Mhm.
again. So and they will get all kind of spiritual, like Kevin Gates behind, get all spiritual, get all poetic, and all this stuff to justify that you a dog, that you a dog. And not to venture too off of the topic, but you see how Kevin Gates had Brittany Reynolds behind out here looking. I mean,
Crazy.
but that was coming full circle for what she did to old boy. I mean, but I tell you that her job went off as soon as he dropped her. She dropped her job, didn't she?
Hmm.
Now she's singing a different tune. But that's how they will guys like that. Another guy who had women out here looking crazy, Blueface. He another one. Had got you got. I mean, I don't know what type of love that is. Had him out there looking crazy.
I don't
The
want nothing
baby,
more.
the baby. He another one. The way
First
he
thing,
did Danny Lane,
Krishan,
huh?
like, if y'all look at Krishan before she met Blue, girl was bad. Like, Trek Star, all of this, I was like, God, she bad. But when she got with that nigga, God,
She
I was
was
like,
infatuated with him though. She was infatuated with him, but you know how I feel about her too. Um, is these women will get with these men and they will ruin your life. And some of that ruining of life can be wasting your time.
yep.
Some of it'll be pumping you with babies. Just, I
Hmm.
mean, some of it'll be just dogging you out in front of the whole world to see. You know, like you look at how Offset did Cardi, and she was. You could tell. I now, you know, I like Cardi. I want to make that part clear. I do like Cardi B. I do have some things I disagree with because I do know you did say some horrible stuff back there, back in the day. But you know, you saw she was a good wife with him. She is a good mother, and he constantly still did the same BS. That's why when a man shows you, or even a woman too, they show you they are capable of stepping out on you, and you guys are supposed to be in a committed relationship. Honey, leave, leave. Because if not, you give them the chance to do it again and again and again and again. But I don't know. It was just it was. I think he needed that. He needed that, and they did a good job. They got a new listener in me.
Hmm. That was the first time I ever seen him be quiet.
And the look, it was the facial expressions. They were going in on him, and they ain't hold no bars back. I mean, I was like, dang,
I
dang.
was just sitting there like, dang, somebody finally got him to shut up.
I know, cause he'll keep going. He'll keep going, just going. But yeah, on that note,
For real, for real.
this has been the Artist and Thinker podcast.
Peace.